I think I better make a list like that, you know, more modern mic or something. The little thing pumping up here or something. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, citizens of Dominica, residents at home and abroad, residents, visitors, friends, and well-wishers, good afternoon. Just a few days ago, the world ushered in a new year. As Dominicans, we each wish the other a happy and prosperous 2017, or words to similar effect. Little did we expect that less than 24 hours later, we would have witnessed the launch of a carefully crafted campaign designed to undermine and frustrate the rate of economic growth and development and post-Ericka reconstruction in our country. The campaign itself and some of its main actors were not by and in themselves a major surprise. We have in the past experienced attack after attack from members of the United Workers' Party, who we believe work for or have common interests with persons like Kalin of Henley and Partners. It was former Prime Minister Denzil Douglas of St. Kitts and Nevis who told us that Edison James approached him as a salesman on behalf of Henley and Partners when Mr. James lost office in 2000. It is not in dispute that Lennox Linton traveled with him several times. Kalin of Henley and Partners has never been disposed to Dominica ever since the election of the Dominica Labour Party administration in 2000 and our subsequent refusal to hire them as the exclusive agent for our citizenship by investment program. Indeed, you will recall that I have outlined to you before the close relationship between Henley and Partners and the leader of the opposition and the United Workers' Party. They or persons introduced by them were major financiers of the UWP in the 2005 and 2009 general elections. Indeed, I strongly believe their machinations may have led to the ascension to leadership of the UWP by Mr. Lennox Linton. I do not wish to speculate as to whether the program idea was that of CBS or Henley and Partners, but at this point, it really does not matter. I think that Kalin and Linton grabbed the opportunity to convey the negative messages, images, and impressions of our countries to the world. What concerns me most, however, is that notwithstanding the vote and by extrapolation, the voice of the people of Dominica 2 years ago, the leader of the opposition in Dominica continues to promote what is clearly a Henley and Partners agenda at the expense of the interests and well-being of Dominica and Dominicans. This is what we warned about, and this is what we feared would have happened had Lennox Linton and the UWP been elected to office in the last general election. Ladies and gentlemen, this attack was no doubt a calculated one. It is interesting to note that the countries that have either not embraced Henley and Partners or discontinued their association with them were the ones targeted in the program. So I want the people of Dominica to recognize and understand the context of all of this. We view this as the beginning of a likely ongoing campaign to undermine and destabilize the economic well-being of Dominica through the dismantling of its citizenship by investment program. It is noteworthy that nowhere in the program on Sunday was it said that Lennox Linton was leader of the United Workers' Party or the opposition in Dominica. He was referred to merely as a member of parliament. To Americans and others, this could be interpreted to mean that he was either a non-partisan member or a critical member of the government side. The purpose was obvious. What we cannot comprehend is how a sitting member of the Parliament of Dominica, in the person of Mr. Lennox Linton, the leader of the opposition, would be so irresponsibly a part of that campaign. Perhaps it is his emotional ties to Henley and Partners, or it may be his great anger and fear provoked by the considerable success of the CBI program. This success benefits all Dominicans. However, Lennox Linton sees the success of the CBI program as a political threat to him. Your lives and those of your family mean nothing to him and his pathological obsession for political power. We have explained ad nauseum how the CBI program works, and Linton is more than aware of that. Let me once again stress that the CBI program is governed by legislation, and persons seeking citizenship of Dominica under the CBI have to undergo a most rigorous yet transparent due diligence exercise that involves criminal character and ethics checks by international law enforcement agencies and authorities and due diligence companies. While it is no longer mandatory for face-to-face interviews to be done, it may be required if deemed necessary. Once due diligence reports are received, a committee of government officials review all of the documentation before recommending the granting of citizenship. It is there, if there is any doubt or concern, further questions or vetting will take place. In no instance, and I repeat, in no instance is citizenship granted to anyone if the due diligence checks do not pass muster. Ladies and gentlemen, quite simply, Lennox Linton, with the whole world watching, had a choice to make. He could have come down on the side of Dominica, or he could have sided with those who wish to see the demise of the Dominica CBI program for their own selfish reasons. Which side did he choose? Certainly not Dominica's. Let me turn now to the issue of diplomatic passports. We have said more than once that diplomatic passports are not sold under the CBI program or otherwise. We categorically refute the allegation that diplomatic passports are being sold by this government as alleged or at all. It is regrettable that even in the face of constant denial and complete lack of any evidence, that Mr. Linton would persist and insist on repeating his lies that such a practice exists. Over the years, we have had many outstanding non-Dominicans offer their services free of charge to Dominica in their countries of origin. They have served as our ambassadors and trade and investment commissioners in parts of the world where we were unable to be represented by nationals. In a few instances, one or two of those persons have found themselves at odds with the law. But this was never prior to or known to me or the government before we considered them. On the very rare occasions when this occurred, immediate action was taken to revoke the appointment as appropriate. Parliamentarian Linton spoke on Sunday about the alleged sale of diplomatic passports to 3 individuals in particular. I wish now to address each of these allegations. First off, it was said that Bahamian Rudolph King had been issued a diplomatic passport and appointed ambassador to Bahrain. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a lie. Rudolph King never applied for or was ever granted a passport of any sort, whether service, official, or diplomatic, by the government of Dominica. Rudolph King was never appointed ambassador to Bahrain or even ambassador to Bafa State. The government of Dominica has refuted this allegation by Linton on several occasions over the past 12 years. Yet, He persists in repeating it, this time on international television. I call on Lennox Linton one more time to put up or shut up. To Lennox Linton, I say, provide evidence of Rudolph King having been issued a Dominica passport or having been appointed ambassador to Bahrain. If you cannot do this, then do the decent thing and apologize to the people of Dominica. Secondly, Linton claims that attempts were made to appoint Francisco Corallo to the FAO while he was on an international crime watch list. This again is a lie. In June of 2011, the government of Dominica wrote to the Italian government requesting a no objection to the appointment of Corallo as its representative to the FAO. The Italian government was concerned in about October, November 2011 that Corallo had considerable business interests in Italy and was not comfortable agreeing to him becoming a diplomat to the FAO. That was the right of the Italian government to do, and this put an end to the matter. At this time, Corallo was recognized as a successful businessman and was at this time given in 2011 a clean bill of health by the Ministry of Interior and Foreign Affairs of Italy. It was almost a full year later that reports surfaced of Corallo's name appearing on an international watch list. By this time, the pursuit of his appointment had already ended because of Italy's concerns about his expansive business operations in that country. The Italian authorities never once made reference to any concerns about his integrity, alleged criminal background, or watch list. So it was false and malicious of Lennox Linton to give the impression that at the time of the government's request for Italy's consent to his appointment, Corallo was on an international watch list. That was simply not true. The facts, as made public before, clearly shows that the correspondence to Italy was dispatched in June 2011, and Corallo's name first appeared on an international watch list in late 2012. Incidentally, Corallo has to date not been convicted of any major crime, as suggested by the program on Sunday. So that is lie number 2. The third person of interest named by Linton on Sunday was Daizani Alison Madwicki, a former head of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and senior minister of the government of Nigeria. Alison Madwicki was also the recipient of Forbes magazine's Best of Africa Award in Leadership. This is the sterling record which Alison Madwicki had when I invited her to serve as a voice and face of Dominica in Africa, and a continent that lies untapped to most countries in the region. It was sometime after I spoke to Alison Madwicki that she was approached by British authorities and detained for questioning in the United Kingdom. She has up to date not been charged with any crime and is not wanted by any country. She currently resides in London, England, a free woman. However, when the news broke of her detention, the government of Dominica voiced its concerns publicly and made clear that its association with Alison Madwicki was suspended until such time as she was cleared of all suspicion of wrongdoing. As I said earlier, to date, no charges have been brought, but still the government of Dominica has no connection with the former international figure, based on the concerns as expressed back then by the British authorities. So again, it was downright wrong and misleading of Lennox Linton to suggest, one, that the government of Dominica had approached her, knowing her to be a criminal, and also the government of Dominica had never commented on her detention publicly. Nothing could be further from the truth, as an official statement on the matter was promptly issued. Lennox Linton made these sweeping allegations, and once again, as was the case in the Huffington Post interview of 2015, he never produced a single shred of evidence to support his allegations. But today, Dominica is black-eyed in the eyes of the world because of the reckless and dangerous utterances of one who aspires one day to lead this country. Lennox Linton also lied when he said, "I never answer questions or respond to these matters." The government of Dominica has on 2 occasions disclosed the names of all diplomats to the Parliament, once in 2009 and again in 2012. Further, public statements and releases were issued by me or the respective ministry on the matters mentioned by Linton. Yet on Sunday, Linton gave the international community the impression that there is some sort of covert, clandestine attempt on the part of the government to conduct its affairs in a less than open and transparent manner. Why a member of Parliament of Dominica, who fancies himself as a future leader of this country, would wish to portray such an image of Dominica to the international community is mind-boggling, to say the least. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have on this second working day of 2017? An unfortunate distraction from the important work that this government has to do in order to address the many challenges that confront us, particularly as we continue to recover from the effects of Ericka. We have invested millions of dollars and countless man-hours marketing Dominica's suitability as an ideal place in the Caribbean for persons to visit and to do business, and with which high net worth individuals can associate with pride. Our program is among the most respected and revered in the global industry. It has grown in leaps and bounds in recent years and was at the center of our post-tropical storm Ericka recovery efforts, and is largely financing our community and other local funded projects. Dominica has been able to survive the ravages of the global economic recession as a direct consequence of our prudent fiscal and economic management and with the assistance of our global partners. We have built a CBI program that is today the envy of many. Now, at the start of 2017, when all indicators suggest we are poised for a takeoff with yet another record year of performance likely, this broadside attack on our CBI program and our country is launched by known enemies of Dominica, aided and abetted by one of its very own. I remained quiet up to this point because I wanted to monitor and assess the reaction of ordinary Dominicans to this outrage. I am heartened by the fact that the vast majority of Dominicans are equally outraged by this unjustified attack on our image, character, and integrity. I take great comfort in the fact that Dominicans from all walks of life have called and sent messages of disgust and outrage over this despicable attack on our country. I am confident that Dominica shall survive this. I am confident that our CBI program shall survive this onslaught. And I am also confident that Dominicans will remember who amongst us has facilitated and participated in seeking to destroy the good name of Dominica and the opportunity for us to push forward with our development. I expect that what we saw last Sunday was but the beginning of this campaign, and that there will be ongoing attempts to undermine our program. But God is good, and Dominica shall prevail. It is not for me to prescribe any particular course of action against Lennox Linton. This is for the voters of Dominica to do. That is for the leadership of the United Workers' Party to do. If the behavior of Lennox Linton is not offensive to his UWP colleagues in the Parliament of Dominica, then it is for the voters in those constituencies to express their outrage at the appropriate time. My mission today is to assure Dominicans that despite this unwarranted attack to our economic well-being, we shall continue to pursue policies that will aid in the growth and development of our economy. We shall not be deterred. So let us remain calm and focused, and let us join forces in building and protecting this country. May God continue to bless this wonderful nation of ours. I thank you very much for your listening. I will not allow any questions from the media on this or any related matter.
Mr. Pre Prime Minister, there are suggestions that you or the government should probably take to the international media to defend the government's name and image, because for some reason it has tainted the image of Dominica. It could affect our students studying, persons seeking employment, and persons wanting to do business with Dominica.
Well, clearly this attack, as I said, the objective there is to destroy the country's economic well-being. And we have to look at this thing from an apolitical standpoint. This is not about Labour or UWP or the remnants of the Freedom Party. This is about Dominica. And if people were to take and to treat what was said by Mr. Linton on Sunday to be the truth, it can have and will have an impact on the way we conduct business in Dominica. It will have an impact on our tourism industry. It will have an impact on our financial system. And yes, we will certainly be responding to these baseless and untrue allegations on the Sunday program. So we will provide the CBS with a response to them. So at least in their records, they will have a response to some of the unfortunate lies that were perpetuated on the Sunday program.
Yes, Mr. Prime Minister, Roy Sanford Dieno. This morning, Mr. Linton took to the airwaves and was saying that there is the ministers of government, senior ministers of government, and senior people in the government is orchestrating some kind of attack against him, and that he's been threatened. Would you have anything to say about that? Because he's saying that it is being led by the Dominica Labour Party.
Well, let me first of all say that this party and the leader of this party has always been a party of peace in our country. And every time I spoke in the public, especially in our campaign, I always told people to look the other way if trouble reaches you, and never engage ourselves in any confrontation with anybody. Never have you heard me or any of my ministers indicate to anybody or the leadership of the Labour Party that we should attack anybody. And we condemn fully and with no reservation any statements being made or threatening the lives of anybody in the country. But Mr. Linton must try to speak the truth and be consistent with the truth. Because there are several statements that have been made about attacking myself, kidnapping my children. They know where I am. They say I drive myself in vehicles in one of my constituency, and which days I go there. People have called their programs and say things that they should take out scary, but they have never condemned it. They've never condemned it. I do not know the gentleman who has made the threatening statements about Mr. Linton. He's not a member of the party. He's not a minister of government. If Mr. Linton has evidence to show that a minister of government or a member of my party is orchestrating attacks on him, then he should go to the police and name these people. Because it's a serious threat. It's a serious allegation. And if you are the leader of the opposition and you go into the public and say that you know for a fact, then as a responsible citizen, you should go to the police and make a report to the CID desk or the front desk of the police so that they can investigate the matter formally. But this is just a distraction Mr. Linton is putting in. This is just a distraction. It's just an attempt to move away from what he has done to this country. The danger that he poses to the country and the serious damage his lies on this program on Sunday have caused to the country. So it's a distractionary tactic. It's a tactic by Mr. Linton. I'm doing this and so forth. But I can say categorically there's no minister of government who can ever involve themselves in it. And if he tells me and he can prove to me, and the police investigate any minister, I'll fire them today. They'll be fired. So he could tell me who they are. He gave the public my cell phone number, so he has my number. He has my email address. Yeah, please. Sure.
Happy New Year as well. Dominica, of course, has achieved a lot from the CBI program. We were at a stage where the prospects looked bright. I can remember when you had your last press conference, you indicated then that the prospects looked bright for the CBI program. No, this has come at a time when, of course, there are some leaders who still continue to criticize the CBI program. This recent suggestions by the opposition leader, would that cause us now to probably change some of the things that we have done, change the way we are moving forward with the CBI program? Are we going to tweak some of the processes involved?
Mr. Linton has said nothing that could improve the program. All Mr. Linton has said is to seek to destroy the program. And he has colluded with enemies of Dominica, as I said in my statement. And also because of his fear of the positive impact which the CBI is having and will continue to have on Dominica. For example, the entire resettlement of Petite Savannah, 381 homes, including infrastructure, including a health center and community facilities and a market and a playing field and a basketball court. This will be financed entirely by the CBI. Entirely by the CBI. The whole reconstruction post-Ericka has been financed. We just approved, for example, ratified today in the cabinet, close to $6 million from the CBI that was going to finance the NEP for the next 6 months. So the country depends on the CBI like all of the countries in the OECS and beyond, because in the United States, as you see, it has an EB5 program and attracting tens of thousands of applicants from the world over who invest $500,000 in a project in the United States. Once you can create 10 jobs, you get your permanent residency in the United States. So there's nothing that Mr. Linton has said that would cause us to reflect upon it and see how we can change this or change that. And Mr. Linton gave the impression to the world, that there's a mail order program. So you send your application by mail and you get your citizenship by mail. Making no reference to this, to the due diligence process, which he is aware of because it is enshrined in the law, and we've reported to the Parliament and the public on several occasions. And he has friends and associates. Henley and Partners is an agent. They do not have their name as licensed here, but they do business with us. And if you have so many fundamental issues with your program, why do business with St. Kitts and Nevis, for example? So there's nothing he has said. We have always maintained that we not only have a responsibility to our own national security, Dominica has a responsibility to the security of the region and the world. And we are very, very careful and cautious as to how we conduct our business in respect to the CBI. Because we've always maintained that one error can have not only an impact on our country, but on the region and the world. And this is why we have engaged respected due diligence agencies, and we are cooperating and working with international partners, countries, to assist with the vetting of applicants. And unless you go through this rigorous process of due diligence, your application will not be considered. And I think that when we look at, for example, those of us who are in marketing and so on, I mean, if you're going to go on a CBS program that has international viewership, why not take the opportunity to promote the attributes of our country? The flora and fauna, the safety of our country. When I leave Dominica as a parliamentarian or a prime minister, I go to promote the positive attributes of Dominica. And you left Dominica, went to Antigua. Who paid your ticket to Antigua? Who contacted you? Who paid your hotel and per diem in Antigua? Because we know for a fact, for example, the Iranian guy who applied on the program was not contacted by CBS. He was contacted by Chris Kalin of Henley and Partners to be on the program. So who paid Mr. Because I know Mr. Linton not going to pay his ticket to go to anywhere in Marigot, far more Antigua to answer questions from nobody. So so who paid it? And who contacted you to appear on the program? You understand? And if you know the objective of the program is to besmirch Dominica, why agree to participate? Any right-thinking Dominican will say, look, I'm not going to anything negative about Dominica, no. But Mr. Linton was intrinsically motivated to participate in this program, to destroy the opportunities of his country, to place the country in an economic gridlock. You know, where tourism having $15 million, agriculture having $10 million. Very soon, once the manufacturers will put themselves together and write to me, we'll give them some money to create jobs. We are partnering with a local investor to restart the manufacturing of soaps and other products at the DCP to give back the jobs of the people who lost their jobs. And we're going to be using $2 million to provide a loan to this investor to be able to acquire DCP. So people can be back in work in the next 6 months and start back exports. All of these things are in danger. All of the small business support which we're providing, all of the washrooms, we are on a move to eradicate pit latrines in Dominica by 2017. All of this will be financed by CBI. On average, a washroom costs $11,000. In Calabash alone, 110 people in the washrooms. We just approved 50 for them in the first instance. So here it is. We have to condemn Mr. Linton. And this is not about politics. It's about the well-being of ourselves and our country. And every one of us must let him know at the appropriate time that we do not agree with him and his tactics and so forth. So there's nothing that he has said that would cause there to be any changes in the programs and so forth. As a matter of fact, he has caused damage to the country's image on the program.
PM, I have a question. This information that was released on CBS could potentially have a negative impact on future investments in Dominica. How do we plan to counteract those negatives, and what's the plan moving forward?
Well, we are. You know, the tourism, the DDA has been on top of this matter. They have had our agents who were engaged in the United States to study this matter and to provide a response. For the CBI, our marketing agent has submitted a strategy to address the negative impact which the interview on Sunday will have on our program. There's a strategy submitted by the government. We will go for the full length to ensure that the future of our country and the well-being of so many families in our country is not damaged beyond repair by the recklessness and irresponsible behavior and actions of Mr. Linton. So, and here it is, monies which the DDA should be spending on marketing Dominica, you now have to try to do damage control caused by Mr. Linton. So it's going to cost us money. So you may very well have to see a situation where a road has to be held back because monies now have to be spent on repairing the damage caused by a reckless man called Linton, Lennox Linton in Dominica. And it should enrich people. You know, it should enrich people that you allow yourself to be used like this.
Okay, Mr. Prime Minister.
With your full senses, you know.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
John Baptist, Marpin News. I believe, as I've heard from people, one of the questions being raised is, were you contacted by CBS, and why didn't you consent to an interview if you were contacted?
I was never contacted by CBS. And if I was contacted by CBS to do a program to besmirch Dominica's name, there's no way I would participate. as a private citizen, as a member of parliament, or as Prime Minister of this country.
Now, what does that mean for the relationship between Henley and Partners and government?
Well, we don't have any relationship with Henley and Partners directly. They do send applications, I know, through a different company. So we don't have any direct relationship with Henley and Partners. Henley and Partners, because they did not get I met Chris Kalin about 3 times, trying to persuade me to grant him an exclusive license. 3 times. And I have said to him, there's no way I'm going to displace local Dominicans who've been involved in the business and grant you an exclusive license. You are free to do business with us, but not an exclusive license. And in St. Kitts and Nevis, for example, former Prime Minister Douglas severed ties with Henley and Partners. They're no longer doing the marketing and promotion for St. Kitts and Nevis. That's why he was so angry with St. Kitts and Nevis. So we don't do any direct business with him. For example, they invited me some time ago, last November, to appear at the conference in London to speak. I had other engagements in Asia, so I couldn't attend. So, but these guys are angry with the Dominica Labour Party and the country because they did not get what they want. And remember, if you go back and you read you follow my speeches during the campaign of 2005 and 2009, when I won, and some extent in 2014, and I won this country about the relationship with Chris Kalin, Henley and Partners, and United Workers' Party. Because we know for a fact that they financed the campaign in 2005 and 2009, and to some extent in 2000. Because they were middle people who facilitated that financing. And as Prime Minister Douglas told you, it is Mr. James who introduced Henley and Partners to him as a salesman of Henley and Partners. So we don't have any direct, they're not a registered agent of Dominica. But they do business through a local person here in Dominica.
Okay.
Well, we are formally, I said we will provide the facts in a written form to CBS for what it's worth. They'll decide how they utilize it. But I think that we have a responsibility to place on records at the CBS the facts of the situation. And when Mr. Linton comes and says that what CBS has done an international, their own independent investigation, he's telling a lie. He's telling a lie.
Yeah, Mr. Prime Minister, Chronicle newspaper here.
Sure.
Just an update on the long-term plans and the short-term plans you have for the Silver Lake residents. I understood that some of them are being housed at the school. And school is going to be reopened soon. Do you have any plans, long-term and short-term, in terms of accommodation for Silver Lake residents?
Well, we have placed them in the first instance at the Baffin State Community Center and also the Rosa Primary School, situated in Baffin State. School opens on the 9th. They'll be relocated, those who are in Baffin State Primary School, Rosa Primary School, sorry, will be relocated to the youth center on High Street. We are also looking at, we've been moving around the ministry physically, I've been moving around Ministry of Social Services, looking for homes to rent for them in the meantime. That is ongoing. We've identified about 9 homes. We will intend to engage the homeowners and to negotiate with them. So that, because the whole idea is to move people away from shelters and so on. It's not comfortable, it's not private, and so forth. But we have provided the students with all of this stuff for school. We provided each family the day after the fire. You know, the fire happened at night, so the following day, and they got the check $1,000 each. Every family got $1,000 so that they could buy some things themselves, notwithstanding the fact that we provided them with meals and everything. We have recommenced the reconstruction of the apartments. There'll be 8 apartments there, and the one that is under construction. The ministry has had to make some modifications to the existing plans so that the next building will be able to accommodate the rest of the families affected by the fire. I have given the green light to go ahead for the commencement. They have gone there to do the surveys and the markings. And I think in the next few days, we'll be able to sign a contract for the construction of these additional apartments that will house the whole family. My understanding is that the current building will take about 2 to 3 months, if all goes well. But less than that, because they'll no plastering, put windows and so forth. So we're hoping that very soon we can have those families, at least those are children and the elderly, placed in this apartment structure. But there was always plans, as you know, to build a modern, attractive Silver Lake, you know. And we started with, so there's a whole plan for this. And as a matter of fact, the structure that got destroyed by fire, it was the government's intention that once the structure that's under construction was complete, we would break this down and build a new apartment structure in that site. Unfortunately, a fire happened, and it has displaced people. But I think in every disappointment, there's a blessing in disguise. And the blessing in disguise is that it is now advancing the construction of the food building to make life better for them. But in the interim, we'll ensure that we do everything possible to make life better for them. And I hear people talking foolishness about politics and all that. You know, what they wanted to do was that I would have stayed at my home, the ministers would have stayed at home, don't bother with the people, don't do anything for them, and they would come to see how wicked scary it is. But they were blown away by the decisiveness of the cabinet, the fact that the cabinet descended on this place, put charge of it. Those Charles and Lady Daniel, when I came there, and Dr. McIntyre and others, when I came here, you could have sworn that this was a constituency. The way they were involved, they were able to brief me on site, the facts. Lady D, when they was there the night before, cooked breakfast for them the following day. You know, and people come here with Brogodo from Ericka that was sent from American people in a blue barrel, and handing over to people as if it is new stuff they get, and they just giving people the stuff and so on. And if you get stuff for Ericka from American people, how come you still have it? you see what I'm saying? And then pretending to be on the phone talking to people when nobody's on the line.
Yeah. Prime Minister.
So they're hoping that I would have not paid attention to the people there, but these are special people, like every part of the country, and we'll do everything to make them happy and make them comfortable. Yes, sir.
Yes, Prime Minister. Kalin John Baptist. 2 questions. One, a follow-up to what the lady spoke about just a short while ago. That building.
Which one? Silver Lake?
Yes. Okay. The building at the front that your government was building, it's been down for the last 2 years. I'm trying to find out why, it took them so long, because clearly something went wrong. Mm-hmm. So we're going to find out why. Sure. Also, there are allegations that your government or operatives of your government may have been trying to stop, see you smiling, you expected that, the CBS program from being aired. Is that true?
But I don't think Trump could stop CBS program if I were for legal spirit. I mean, you guys give me a lot of influence in that world that I don't have. I mean, I can't even stop DBS from carrying a story. Is CBS I can stop? And when DBS can't pay their salaries, they come to me to pay salaries? Huh? I have to, under the law, I am to appoint the general manager under the law. That was the law before I was born, So to say that attempts were made to stop the CBS program is unfounded. I mean, I wish I had that power in the world, that I could influence CBS and so they could have all ads in Dominica promoting all sorts of wonderful things in Dominica. That's not true. That's not true. The issue of the Silver Lake is that there were contractual differences between the contractor and the Ministry of Housing. There were differences of opinion, differences of views, which caused a disruption in the relationship between the contractor and the Ministry of Housing. That has been resolved, though there are still other issues. But the contractor is back on site. He was given instructions by myself, so I intervened and he complied. And I want to thank Felix Thomas for this. And work is going on very well. They've been plastering, and he should get a check by Friday, so that he has enough money to pay his workers and address the outstanding issues. But I think generally the issues there have been addressed and work is ongoing. So we're not going to dwell on the past, but look to the future. But the fact is work has recommenced, and I did in fact indicate to the residents who I spoke with, in the presence of the Member of Parliament, I sent to call him. But he never said so publicly that I sent to call him. He was outside talking. I said, go and call the Member of Parliament. And he stood at my right hand. When I met the people. And he heard exactly what I told the people. And I did tell the people that work on this building will commence tomorrow morning. And the contractor was on site very early next morning. And so work is ongoing there and so on. But the people of Silver Lake will be very happy with what will happen there eventually and so on.
I want to ask another question. We've been having issues since Ericka roads, etc. And a typical one is just recently, I'm just trying to find out in terms of the government's plans as it relates to, a number of roads which has been undermined and, the safety of the people.
Yeah, I mean, the last road collapse in Cabernet was as a result of landslides, slippages. So it was not a situation which existed at the time of Ericka. It's a new situation, and as you will see, within a matter of days, we started the reconstruction and to create a bypass while we work on the designs of the retaining wall, so that people don't have to go through Water Waven, which is in a major reconstruction. Water Waven is in a major reconstruction. We should issue another contract or two, because the intention is to rebuild the entire roadway from the top in Water Waven and all the way down to Copthall Bridge to reconstruct the road completely. We've always indicated that we need to have designs, engineering designs that can withstand a similar type occurrence happening in Dominica. And there are limitations within the ministry in terms of our ability to have those engineering designs, because there's so many interventions. And some of them require extensive studies to inform the engineering designs. We have been engaging local firms to assist us with designing some of those structures. And also we have been engaging international firms to assist with the designs of this. The CDB has also assisted us. They have sent in an engineer here who is assisting with the design of the Emsall Bridge, for example. We just received 2 days ago the designs for the road works in Loda that have been collapsed there. There's extensive work to be done there. So we are receiving designs, and as we receive designs, we'll go to tender, and so that we rebuild, we will build back better. We need to ensure that we maintain the concept of building back better. So yes, we could have done more in some areas, but the more we would have done may be compromised in terms of the integrity of the engineering designs. So there are 2 international firms we've been discussing with. They have both sent us proposals. The cabinet will review them and make a determination within the next 7 days or so on how we go about addressing this. We have declared all of those interventions in Bells. As you see, the road continues to be undermined as emergencies, notwithstanding the fact that Ericka occurred over a year ago. These things have been elevated back to emergencies because the rain that we've been getting, unprecedented rain for several weeks, non-stop every single day. And you're just watching and seeing the roads erode and edge failures continue to happen. It's a very disheartening thing. This is why it really pisses me off when people like Linton can go and try to destroy the country. Because as the Minister of Finance and the person who is largely responsible for ensuring that we have the monies to address those things, and recognizing that our people can't be taxed further, and recognizing that we cannot take loans for every single thing we want to get done because somebody has to pay for it, and you must have the revenue to pay for it, the CBI is becoming increasingly more important to our survival. If this, I can say to the country without any fear of contradiction, that if the CBI were to be taken away from us tomorrow morning, we're in trouble. It's as simple as this, and this is not a political statement. We'll be in trouble because this is the major source of revenue for us. When you have a DCP disappearing, for example, on You know, it's a major impact on the economy. You know, and therefore, how are you going to reconstruct this thing? Bananas or attempts to resuscitate it is not going to be the answer now. The tourism receipt we get from tourism is to do the normal recurrent expenditure. We can't depend on tourism receipts now to build 381 homes for us in for 57 people. We can't rely on it. And we're going to be embarking, for example, on a major community road enhancement program, you know, which we anticipate will cost about $30 to $40 million. We rebuild all those village roads in these communities that people are complaining about over time. And we're going to move away from this patching, and reconstruct the roads. For example, when you drive through Goodwill and Santa Roma, this alone is going to cost you about $12 to $15 million in Goodwill and Santa Roma. All of the roads require reconstruction. And we cannot wait for asphalt. We have to move to concrete. And I'm hoping that the people in Goodwill can accept the concrete, because I know people say concrete is for the countryside and asphalt is for the urban areas. You know. Yeah. So I'm hoping that they will accept the concrete. There's a road to a school there, for example. What lane is it, Blanchard? Downing Gap or whatever it is. Downing Gap is something like England or something. That's going to be reconstructed, you know. I mean, so there are a lot of roads. Rose Street is terrible. You know, the estimates we have for Charles Avenue, which I think is too high, is over $4 million. $4 million, I think, is too high. I think they have to go back and review this. I mean, Charles Avenue is just the 30 seconds you run in this road, and for $4 million is a bit high for me. But so if you take the CBI out, my friends, and this is why I'm telling people we must not look at this thing from a partisan lens. We have to look at this thing from a Dominica perspective. And anybody, irrespective of who the person is, who goes out there in international media to seek to destroy our future must be condemned, and must be condemned forcefully by every right-thinking Dominican. And my final statement on it, because I have to go to a funeral, and I have to go and lay in peace a friend of ours, Wadi Astefan. I can't be late. Though if the priest doesn't show up, I'll do the sermon as well. My final point on this is, the sensible people out there who support the United Workers' Party, I want to hear their views on this. The former ministers, you know, what do you now say about this? If you were in government and a member of the opposition were to do this to Dominica, what would have been your response? What would have been your response? And all of these people, the business people out there who are supporting the United Workers' Party, Mr. Linton, what is your response? Because if you own a hotel and people stop coming to Dominica because they think that this is a rogue country, what's going to happen? You're going to start laying off people because you're not making money. Already in the point where some are complaining about low occupancy. The cruise ships, all of the taxi men who are enjoying the cruise ship industry, the vendors on the road. This is why in St. Joseph, you know, you must go back and read my speech in St. Joseph last year when I spoke about the behavior of Mr. Linton and the Workers' Party. Some people take offense to the word traitor I used. But let's read this speech. I won't go back to the speech today, but read this speech. I can make it available to you, Charlie and Mrs. Aaron. Make it available to them so they can, in their spare time, read it. But, you know, I would like to hear what sensible Dominicans have to say. Where, you know, over 40 million people watch this, and a parliamentarian besmirching the name of his country and seeking to destroy Dominica. But, you know, we thank God for his many blessings, and the good Lord is on our side, and the good Lord will take care of us. Thank you very much, media, for being there. We look forward to engaging you in the future. I wish all Dominicans a wonderful day. Thank you very much.